Greetings, everybody. Are we ready for 1984 in 2020? Well, me and Tech Haberdashy are here to discuss it. And if any other supporters jump on, they'll jump on as well. I know Pizza cannot be on the computer from like a certain range to a certain range because, locked indoors, teenagers, computers, hey, limits are good. So he won't be joining us for a while anyway. And not sure where everyone else is right now, and I've been thinking about doing out another poll to ask if this is still a good time for us or not for everybody, because we have more supporters than ever. Thank you, everybody, for all your support. We have more supporters than ever, but we don't have a large number of people on here, and I think it's just because, hey, we're getting down to the point where it might be time to revisit our time slots, see what happens. So anyway, keep an eye out for that. If I do that, I've been chatting with my brother about potentially doing an interesting program with him because he and I are 100% opposite people. I mean, literally. I mean, I'm clean cut. He's not. No, Dan says no link yet. Dan, I sent you a link.
What? I got it. Join us, Dan. We're going to party like it's night.
All right, Dan, let me go ahead and double check. Did I put that? You know what, Dan? Maybe I didn't. Maybe I forgot to put the supporters in the link. Maybe I just sent it just to myself.
I got a Discord.
Yeah, I sent it out. I sent it out to people who asked to be on the list. I thought I did send it out to everybody, but
I don't recall seeing it in the email.
Hopefully, I didn't send it out to a bunch of other random people. So, all right. I sent that out, Dan. Let's go ahead and give Dan a few minutes to show up. Let me go and check my sent.
I just got the email.
Show link.
So it did send now.
Yeah, you know what? When I sent it out earlier, I just sent it to me, apparently. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I thought I'd sent it out in time, but anyway, I missed, apparently. All right, let's see. We got Moonbase Alpha Grays. Hi there, Moonbase Alpha Grays. I got Roger back here. Roger is apparently strangling Alexa, and apparently strangling Alexa for the unicorn meat. So for those interested there. Nem Game Boy, how's it going there? Greetings to you. Kitty's actually sitting down here, and if I knew he was sitting right down here and not on his window, I would have put on the kitty cam, but, the kitties say, meow. 1984, Ghostbusters, crack cocaine, Tetris, Where's the Beef, Satanic Panic, Purple Rain, HIV, and that Apple Macintosh Hammer commercial. What a year. Oh, man, I remember that year. 1984 Ghostbusters. Yeah. Crack cocaine. I mean, I was too young to really recall crack cocaine. Tetris. Yeah, I played me some good Tetris. Where's the Beef? I remember that. Where's the Beef? Satanic Panic was a fun one. My mother's like, you gotta be careful in the woods. Those Satanists will sacrifice children. Like, mother, we spend like day and night in these woods. We have never seen any evidence of a satanic seance in the middle of the woods. Trust me, if we have, we would have participated with the way we were.
The only thing I seen in the woods was a Bigfoot.
Yeah, there you go. That's all right. 13 Tom, greetings. Andrew, hello. Leo, greetings to you. Let's see, 1984, when USSR was still here. I remember USSR being on a map. So I had a globe. First globe I ever had USSR on it. It was kind of fun.
I remember being in elementary school, and there were still maps that said Soviet Union on it. When 1992 and 1993, and some of them
when I was in school, I think East and West Germany were still a thing too.
Yeah, I think 1989 is when that broke up officially. Does that sound about right?
It's either 89 and 90, one of the two.
It's one of those two. I actually remember because Pink Floyd actually did a concert at the Breaking Down of the Wall. Believe it or not. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a big fundraiser. Actually, they only performed one or two songs. It was like all of the big artists of the day. I know Tom Petty was there. Cyndi Lauper was there. Just so like Bryan Adams. Bryan Adams actually, I think it was Bryan Adams did a cover of "What Shall We Do Now," which did not make the album cut, but was on the movie cut. Very excellent song. But yeah, it was an interesting. It wasn't nearly as good as the "Is There Anybody Out There" wall tour, which was amazing. But yeah, it was an intriguing album, but it wasn't absolutely groundbreaking.
Yeah, Tony Tennille from Captain and Tennille also did backup vocals on that record.
Oh, did he? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. She did, but the captain didn't. They kind of after the Captain Tennille whole show and all that, they kind of didn't do so much stuff together anymore.
Yeah. There's also, speaking of interesting Pink Floyd, there's also, if you guys didn't know, there is a London a London Philharmonic Orchestra does several Pink Floyd songs, and there's another one, and I forget which symphony it is, but there was a symphony album called Us and Them, which was absolutely fabulous, particularly if you like the more instrumental type. So they did a lot of Floyd symphony stuff. Definitely interesting stuff. So those were the good old days, man. The good old days.
Back in my day.
Where's World of Linux? World of Linux is on Discord right now. Do I need to round them up? Let me go ahead and drop a note into live chat. Yep, I got the Rona.
Human malware.
All right, let's do that. I gotta come up with a fun, fancy name for it for tomorrow. I had something in my mind, but I forgot what it is now. Hopefully, I remember tonight. I'm working together on the news articles. Leo born in '59, so I'm the old geezer down here. All right, man.
Where is down here, Leo? Roughly speaking.
Yeah. Down here, probably up in Toronto.
He's only 2 years older than me.
Yeah. Hello, Jimmy the Noob. Greetings to you. All right. Should we go ahead and dive in, or should we wait and see if anyone else is coming on? I think we have a quorum at this point.
So say 3 is all you need, right? 3's a crowd, they say.
Hey,
so
man. Yeah.
One too many.
So this is going to be a crowded talk then, isn't it?
Right.
All right.
Thanks for coming, Tom. Dan, you and I got this.
All right. Well, I'll see you guys later. So. I'm out of here.
The news article kind of left me kind of confused.
Yeah, or a little turry, a little confused, a little out there.
Yeah, a little up in the air.
Yeah, so we're doing
opinion piece.
Yeah, it definitely was an opinion piece, but it was certainly an interesting opinion. So this is we go over there to UK and The Guardian. I almost call this 1984 surveillance in the UK instead of anarchy in the UK, but I decided to go with what we went with, which was, what was it called? 1984, the new surveillance state, which is more universal. I didn't want it to sound like this was only UK because, hey, us Americans, particularly with some of our governors and courts and things, are just going so far crazy. Like, you know, there's a lady that she literally spent 500 hours on hold trying to reach the state unemployment office because, you know, the government told her she had to shut her business down, and, you know, $1,000 only goes so far. And so she, you know what? I'm opening the business. And she opened the business, and so that she could pay her bills and her employees could pay their bills and people could put food on their people's table because the state's unemployment system wasn't working. And they put her in jail for 7 days because they're like, well, you just admit you're wrong and we'll let you go with a fine. She says, no, I will not admit I'm wrong. If you think, if you get a chance to watch her video, wow, the boldness that woman has, she had some gonads there. And because she... Man. Yeah, let's see if I can find it.
That don't surprise me because I can't even get a hold of the Green Dot credit card company people. None of them. Nothing. None of them are answering their phones. My doctor's office is too chicken to call me to cancel my doctor's appointment. They sent me a text message.
So apparently in Fox News, the Texas Attorney General tells the judge to free the woman for being unjustly jailed. So I'm not sure if this will actually have the... What I wanted to see is I wanted to find her...
Effective May the 8th, this Friday.
With one announcement, Governor Abbott jump-started an industry on pause.
This was a surprise, and my phone started blowing up. I'm going to mute desktop
for a second just so I can see if this has the spot. Yep. Okay. Okay, hold on. Oh, come on. Stop. I think I found the spot. All right, let me... There we go. All right.
In contempt of court.
If you think the law is more important,
I don't know where you're at, Leo, but I am.
And please go ahead with your decision, but I'm not going to shut the salon.
She'll spend.
There he is. All right, go ahead. She's like, she says, if you think it's more important to close down a business than to feed children, then you can proceed with your decision and send me to jail.
Wow. Got him.
Wow.
Got him.
I'm inspired. There is a GoFundMe for her and her salon and stuff, which will be, legal fees, fines, and paying the employees. Which the salon is open. She's in jail, but the salon is open, being run by a manager. But that's the type of stuff we're getting. I mean, it's just
I do need a haircut really bad.
Yeah. And this is the funny thing. If you didn't get a chance to watch, is it Viva Fry? He's a Montreal lawyer. He had the most interesting perspective because he's like, listen, in this country, we're literally locking up a woman for opening her business it wasn't like, hey, we're opening up when anything goes. It was everybody not currently being worked on had to wait outside. Everybody had to be social distancing. Everybody at the store had to have a mask. Everybody had to sanitize everything extra. Everybody was socially distanced, probably used every other chair or something. It was every type of a thing that they could do following to a T CDC guidelines. And he's like, literally, they're locking her up, but they're letting all sorts of actual convicted criminals go so the jails don't get overrun with criminals infected with coronavirus. Like, okay, here's a thought. Just keep them all in there for another, 18 months. I mean, really, you don't need 18 months, 18 weeks, era. 18 days.
We're not in the postmodernist era. We are in the idiocracy era as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's getting weird. And so we got some opinion pieces. So the tech solutions for the coronavirus take surveillance state to the next level. And before we dive on into this article, guys, if you're kind of into all of the craziness going on here, I actually wrote a short story, and I actually created a landing page for it now, so you can read the first part before downloading it. And with this, hey, what else do you do when you're locked into your house because on governor's orders for a while? Well, you write a short story based on modern technology and dystopia, so it's called Lockdown. You can head on over to worldwordpress.com/lockdown. You can download a copy of that, and I'm licensed this to, hey, you can freely distribute the book. The zip file is going to contain a Mobi that you can read on your Kindle. It has an EPUB that you can read on pretty much any other device, and there's a PDF in there. Feel free to distribute that around in full to anybody you want. So through the link there in the chat. So with that, all of those technologies I wrote about in the book, which were all inspired by real things going on in various places around the county, or the country, I should say, and county, for the love. Our local newspapers tells people, if you see a crowd over 25, call the police.
We have serious protesting and rioting at our state capitol now.
Good.
I mean, you can find it on the internet. All you got to do is type in protest Lansing, Michigan.
Well, did you see... I think it was Glenn Beck did a Maui Awards episode, right, where he was handing out and will actually be mailing out awards to the governors who've taken these orders way too far. Very nice, very nice. So the Mauis, So yeah, I did see some of those. We had a protest as well in Pennsylvania, and now people are like, the person who has organized the protest has coronavirus. I said, well, she's probably gonna be fine. In all honesty.
There's a guy at my church who's a doctor at the Medical University of South Carolina, and he said last Friday they had tested their 1100th person, and out of everyone they tested, they had one come back positive, and he was a guy who was already exhibiting flu-like symptoms. So,
now, were they doing the test for the active virus, or were they doing an antibody test?
I don't know. I didn't really go into all that. We were just kind of roundtabling what's going on in our lives, so dig into it. But it's just anecdotally speaking, it's interesting to know.
Yeah, well, my mother's hospital laid off half their staff.
Right. Yeah, you've mentioned that.
So it's not like... and I keep on touching base with her, and it's the same. I think they have one person in the hospital with it. Out here, I think we have a capacity for 40 people. We don't have anybody on the ventilators. Not even sure we have that many in the hospital either. Now, and understand that the entire purpose of this lockdown was not to stop people from getting it. It was to slow the progression. We've slowed it. It's time to open it back up so the hospitals can get back to work. Cautiously, of course. Pennsylvania is doing tomorrow, guys. Tomorrow, we officially open up. We can have groups of 25. I can actually legally visit my friend that we have been visiting all the time anyway. But we are legal again tomorrow. So
looking like Monday for us. It doesn't look like Governor Master is going to back down.
Yeah, but everyone's got to wear face masks, which is annoying. It's the saddest thing that I walk every day, right? And I read. Well, since I went down to get my mail from the one time I checked my mail this week, I go down and I stop at a park so I don't have to constantly walk around my neighborhood. And it's sad to see people walking through the woods wearing a mask.
Yeah, right.
Get some fresh air. Get a little fresh air.
That pollen's pretty damn potent out there.
I get sure wearing a mask going to the grocery store. Still don't agree with it, but if I have to go to a grocery store, I'm going to do it, unfortunately. I get going into public spaces. You're in the woods.
Right.
I'm still waiting for my masks. I ordered them 3 weeks ago.
Lance.
From China? You might want
I ordered them. Well, I tried to order them from Amazon, and they returned my money and said they could not get them. So I ordered them from Walmart, and they said they're out being shipped.
Wow.
Oh, well, at least they're shipped, I guess.
I also ordered a head trimmer so I can go mohawk.
Yeah. I'm going to go find a Black Marty beauty salon soon. No, I mean, despite some of our things are opening up tomorrow, they're still not opening up hair salons. So I'm just going to keep wearing hats.
I kind of figured that's one of the things, that you should probably wait another 4 or 5 months, is to get your hair cut in a regular salon. So I'm going to try and do mine by myself.
Yeah.
So next week, or the week after I come on, I got a mohawk down the center and the rest of my head looks like DT's.
There you go. Yeah. Just get some good razors and just shave it like DT.
I got a whole box of razors. I'm waiting for the electric clippers. I'm going to try and do number 5 first. And if that don't work out.
And by the way, the lady, the hair salon that's thrown in jail, right across the street from her is a dog salon. And the dog salon's allowed to be open, but the hair salon's not. Yes.
What?
Get out of here.
Kid you not? I've been following that story for a while. It's an exciting one. Let's see. Spin Viking bought HP G62 notebook manufactured 2010. Gave Windows 10 to the purge. Installed Peppermint 10. Runs like a dream. Very good. Do these governments really have the right to do the orders that they have? According to there's been a few of these cases that have been challenged in the Supreme Court, and even in Pennsylvania, the Supreme Court refused to hear one. Was just pushed out today. So now those are emergency orders, which happen quickly. They will, I think, still rule on it later, but not now.
From what I've been able to gather from all the articles I've seen, governors are now given dictatorship powers.
Pretty much.
I'll say, well, my question was going to be, how can they enforce it? I mean, if the police are not enough or are otherwise unwilling, as far as I understand it, the National Guard cannot get involved in states level issues. And if
they can at the governor's orders. At the governor's orders, they can. That's what was going on. The National Guard was actually deployed in Rhode Island. Was that Rhode Island? I think it was Rhode Island. They were going house to house looking for people from New York.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Right. I remember seeing that article. My question is, do they have, like, they can choose to follow the orders, but do they have to? Because of what happened in Virginia with the 2A stuff, the National Guard there said that, nope, this is a state issue and we're not getting involved. And they noped right out of that.
I don't know, but I'll tell you what, half of the National Guard that would have showed up were your neighbors from Virginia anyway. That's probably the case. I'm telling you. Yeah, it's like you go and tell the National Guard, hey, we want to try and keep people safe. I think that they're a little bit better. Back in that time, we still didn't have all the data that we have now, when that occurred. And so, sure, I get that. But when you're going to try and deploy the National Guard to disarm the basic citizenry, I can understand the National Guard saying, no, bro, you're on your own.
Yeah, right.
We ain't going to the hills of Virginia. Have you ever been to the hills of Virginia to try and take somebody's guns from the hills of Virginia? You ain't getting out of there alive.
Just for anybody who wants to go to war with Virginia, just know their citizenry is a ready-made army, just on demand all the time. You have fun.
It's like Switzerland.
Central Michigan's the same way.
Look at the maps of World War II, and you find this one dot that wasn't controlled by Nazi Germany. It was Switzerland. Yeah, keep your tanks out of here, bro. Okay. So that's Virginia, and honestly, that's a lot of places in Pennsylvania too. Although I'm in the liberal hotbed of it with the giant university here with a bunch of brainless college students. So, with that being said, we're like, your guns are bad. Guns are bad. Like, no, tell me guns are bad. Like where I'm at right now, the only thing that serves where I live right now is state police and the sheriff. How long is it going to take to get the sheriff out here? I think the nearest sheriff's office is 30 miles away. Yeah, someone's breaking my house. I'm not waiting for that. He's going to be dragged down a body bag. I'm sorry.
Just be glad you don't live in Canada, because after that recent tragedy, it sounds like they got a real political battle. Those folks.
That was an interesting one too, and that got pushed through without any discussion, debate. They're just like, yeah. As of now, done. Yeah. Let's go ahead and dive into the article, shall we?
Sorry, we really derailed there.
Yeah, I don't mind. It was a good conversation anyway. Who knows? Maybe we just ignore the article and just keep talking. I don't know.
It's all around the human malware and where we are going to exist.
Yeah. I mean, this video is probably going to be demonetized. If it is, I'm not going to challenge it.
You already said the Rona anyway, so.
Yeah, well, I don't know if saying the Rona actually immediately gets you demonetized right away.
Well, I wasn't going to say the word, but you read the title of the article, so.
Yeah. Anyway, tech solutions for the coronavirus take surveillance state to the next level. The role of the digital revolutionaries is to disrupt everything but the central institution of modern life, the market. Definitely, this is one that I couldn't put down. This is the first one we've done in a long time that I literally have not been able to put down. It's really good, really well written. And it just it's looking at just a lot of the things that are going on, and mostly what we're looking at. And what I kept on thinking, although nobody is named, no, I guess never mind. I take that back. There are some people named up here at the top. The dated cliches from the pages. Do I need to read this dramatically? Let's do this dramatically. The dated cliches from the pages of 1984 are no longer a reliable guide for what is to come. And today's capitalism is stronger and weirder than the critics have ever imagined. Not only do its numerous problems present new avenues for profit-making, they also boost its legitimacy, since the only salvation will be dispensed in the likes of Bill Gates and Elon Musk. The worse its crisis, the stronger its defenses. This is definitely not how capitalism ends. Interesting.
Thank God for it.
Yeah. I have to say, as a small parenthetical, the other day when I was out walking at night, I actually saw Musk's Starlink go across the sky.
Really?
That is nice. Creepy as get out. Like, you're just sitting there looking at the stars, and you'll see a satellite, and they're kind of random.
Yeah.
I counted them, 29 in a perfect line. Like a train in the sky. It's like, okay, I want to go inside now and hide for a while. Where's my hat?
Thousands of satellites up there, so 29 more isn't going to make it any worse.
Yeah, so, but these ones are the ones that are still orbiting up, so they're really bright. So it was like a train of 29 really bright stars in a perfect sequential line going together. Very interesting.
I can see them. That would be cool to watch.
No, actually, I think that was the only time they were across the United States for a while. There's actually a Starlink chart. You can go online and look for it. And I did confirm that's what it was. I went on like, oh, it's going right over my area. I saw it right then. It was creepy. So yeah, you can actually enter. I think if you go to a location enabled browser, it'll like, hey, here's the location. Here's where it is. I'm like, no, just tell me where it is. And so Elon Musk, this whole situation is actually like it's flipped everything around. I mean, the liberals are buying guns. The Democrats want the border to Mexico closed, and I agree with Elon Musk right now. Oh God,
I know. What's happening?
Really? So
through the looking glass, or
I know. It's just like I'm just in an alternate reality right now, personally. And so with this, Elon Musk, of course, has been really, in my opinion, doing a lot of great things, bringing large-scale awareness to the counter-narrative, which is important right now because, of course, even YouTube's pulling videos down off of YouTube that breaks the narrative. That's definitely something that they're doing. And with that being said, they are. My train of thought has derailed, of course, because I'm looking at the article again. With that being said, he's been tweeting out some of the things, being, hey, it is really time to get back to work, and so that's good. Bill Gates, on the other hand, I think as good as a job Elon Musk is doing right now, I think Bill Gates is going totally insane. What is your dog doing back there?
That's what I was just looking at. I'm like, he like rolls. He just like gets on his back and he just like.
He's like dancing, man. He's dancing.
Would you feed that thing?
Yeah.
Hello.
So Bill Gates, of course, he's really pushing we got to keep the economy completely locked down until there's a vaccine, and then everybody's got to get the vaccine, and then. You need to be able to show a public ID that you are vaccinated to re-enter society. That's his ultimate plan.
Yeah, that's what China. That's a hard no.
Yeah, that's Chinese dictatorship.
Yeah, and so I don't think that that's going to happen. But the fact that he is big and influential in pushing that agenda tells me that we're going to get something close to that. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this question, and you're a good person to ask this question too. How do you feel about the vaccines that they've came out with and they push down everybody's throat? Are they really safe, or are they full of side effects and things that cause problems?
I have not sat down and actually done a boatload of research, and that's an area that I would have to spend a lot of dedicated time to.
There's a lot of people that are afraid of vaccines.
Correct. Now, here is something I will say regarding specifically Bill Gates and what he did. He got kicked out of India because he was basically using India as a testing ground for vaccines, and it ended up killing a lot of kids. And so Bill Gates was actually kicked out of India. But that being said, here's my stance. I am not an anti-vaxxer, nor am I nor am I hey, we got to go and get stuck up with everything because science is going to save us. Because I got news for you people, science is not going to save us. Right. Here's my take of what we need to do with the vaccination stuff. A vaccine should only be mandatory if it is highly virulent and highly deadly. Coronavirus is highly virulent. It is not highly deadly.
Right.
Outside of very rare populations, and that's kind of the same issue. The CDC highly recommends elderly and young children get a flu vaccine. Middle people, depends on what your field is. My mother is a nurse. She either needs to get a flu vaccine or she has to wear a mask 24/7. So she's generally against the flu vaccine, she goes ahead and gets it because she can't stand wearing a mask all the time. And so, working in the healthcare industry. And that's kind of the general statement. So this particular virus is highly virulent, but it's not particularly deadly. Outside of the places where it is, which is elderly, comorbidities, things like that. Not that that's not serious and doesn't give you complications, but if it's highly virulent and deadly at the same time. Number 2, we have to repeal the law that says a pharmaceutical company and a medical institution cannot be held liable if there is a problem with the vaccine. There's literally a law in the books. So wrap your head around this one. When I go down to McDonald's and I buy food, there is an implicit warranty that the food that they give me is safe. They don't have to guarantee it. They don't have to say that's the case. It's a guaranteed implicit. We actually have a law in the United States on the books that takes explicitly that away for something injected into your body, that if you get a vaccine, you cannot, even a mandatory vaccine, a voluntary vaccine, you cannot hold the drug company liable. You cannot hold the doctor liable. You cannot hold the hospital liable if there's a complication, even under neglect. And that law needs to be repealed. And then number 3, for a mandatory vaccine, the pharmaceutical company may not profit above, let's set a low arbitrary number, let's say 5%. 5% over the cost to produce and distribute, they cannot make any more than that. That way there's no push to make a profit off of a vaccine. Now, as far as non-virulent vaccines, hey, make them available all you want, price gouge them all you want, do whatever you want, because they're not mandatory. But I think if you did those 3 things, we would really do a lot to quell the anti-vax movement, because what the anti-vax movement tries to say is, I don't want to stick anything because I don't trust any of this kind of stuff. And you're telling me I have to have too many things stuck in me.
Right. And here we learned that all our medicine now comes from China because of cost cutting. So these people in the medical manufacturing fields could just line their pockets with even more money.
Yeah, and I think that's a problem. Now, again, if it's a voluntary thing, have at it. Have at it. I don't care. I'm not going to stand in the way of capitalism in that respect. What I don't want is I don't want us to get to a society where we are vaccinating against absolutely anything and everything because we have a small risk of getting a cough. Okay. Yeah. And no, that's not the coronavirus. That the coronavirus does more than that. Go ahead, Tuck.
It's going to destroy our immune systems. Like if we were to vaccinate against everything, we would do it.
Well, no, vaccinating actually doesn't destroy your immune system. Vaccinating actually helps support your immune system. But wearing a mask and isolating yourself and not going within distance of people, that will destroy your immune system.
Oh, okay.
What we're going to see is when people take off their masks and finally take off their masks and re-enter society and attempt to get back and do something normal, we're going to see a wave of other unrelated illnesses because our immune systems have become seriously compromised. So, yeah, whatever that's worth. We have derailed again. We're never getting to this article. This is a fascinating article. I'd highly recommend reading it. We may not get through it today.
Well, this article circles around a bunch of if, ands, ors, buts, and everything else.
Yeah, it does. It does. So we get into, of course, we can tell from the first sentence that the opinion writer of the article, and this is an opinion piece, is probably not a capitalist.
Well, they're also probably disconnected from a reality because they said they placed capitalism in intensive care. Negative.
Yeah. Well, I think that our government has placed capitalism in intensive care. I would agree with that statement. And I remember reading that, but I would say that our government has placed it. And I am not against capitalism. I am against corporatocracy. I am against oligarchy. I am not against capitalism. Yeah. But unfortunately, what we have today is in corporatism and oligarchy. So,
well, I'd say it's the result of capitalism without a strong moral foundation. Yeah. This happens.
So they say the critics of capitalism are right to see COVID-19 as a vindication of their warnings. I have no idea where he was going with that sentence. but it has revealed the bankruptcy of neoliberal dogmas of privatization and deregulation, showing what happens when hospitals are run for profit.
That's a mouthful.
This entire paragraph here reeks of a recent, how old is this guy? This reeks of a recent college graduate who is completely inexperienced in life. I have no idea who this person would be, and I don't see a specific link to their bio.
Yeah, Evgeny Morozov. It's almost like a...
Oh, wait, there's a link to the bio up there.
April 15th is the page
he's
date.
Actually old. He's actually a fairly old dude based on that. But definitely an anti-capitalist. And he's using all these big academic words. So if we want to break these down here, revealed the bankruptcy of neoliberal dogmas of privatization and deregulation. In other words, he says that there is a serious problem with privatizing and deregulating things. So, and I am fundamentally, I think that a lot of our challenges that we see in American medical system is a pure privatization and deregulation of hospitals, only to a degree. I think, though, that if the government stayed completely out of it, we would be in a lot better place. But the fact that they're right in enough, sticking their fingers in it, it messes it up. So like Obamacare comes around and forces everybody to have insurance. Like, well, how's that a bad thing? Well, because some people are healthy enough that they can look at the risk of it and say, you know what? So for me, I had right around that time Obamacare passed was right around that time when we had that major economic crash and people were losing their jobs left, right, and center. And I was caught up in all of that. So I lose a job. Okay, so now I'm establishing, and I'm in my first year or two as a freelance designer. And so what I had to figure out how to do is how do I cover that bridge of healthcare? Now, I had the option to go to the COBRA plan, which was a completely useless plan that would have cost me over $1,000 a month having just lost my job. Well, that's not exactly going to be a viable thing. Okay, so I'm looking around and I'm like, you know what? I'm reasonably healthy and I get decent amounts of exercise and workout. And so I don't need all that. So let me buy a catastrophic plan, which only cost me $100 a month at the time. The day Obamacare passed, my rates went up 37%. I could no longer afford it.
Yeah, the same year that happened, where I was working, they dropped the traditional PPO plan, which just about covered everything, and went to this stuff called high deductible insurance.
Yep.
Where nothing's covered unless you pay, half the bill.
Yeah. And that's the type of catastrophic plan that I had. If you get into a serious case that's going to cost you millions of dollars, they'll cover you. Everything else is out of your pocket. Now, the good thing is that if you're in a case without a lot of insurance and you have a decent amount of money, you can go to the hospital and say, you know what? I got some cash here. I'm going to refuse treatment if you don't take my cash. Give me a deal. You can negotiate a deal with the hospital. Especially since they're technically not supposed to refuse you treatment under Obamacare, but that was one of the reasons why I liked the platform that our current president ran under, because he didn't unroll everything from the plan, because there were some legitimate good things in the Obamacare plan. But what he did is he rolled back the individual mandate. As soon as that happens, now we are no longer forced by a government to pay for a private product. And so that immediately drives the price of the
that was a constitutional issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's what he's saying in here. Now, I also think jails, privatizing and deregulating jails, that's a nightmare. Because now it's like, you want to be paid by the state and other things for holding prisoners in longer. What are you not going to make up to keep people in prison longer?
Right.
So, for anybody that likes Leverage, season 3, episode 1, there was a Leverage episode where they actually tackled that issue of a private jail. Very interesting show. If you have never seen that show, it's a really good show. I think it might be on Netflix. I have all the DVDs though, so I enjoy my show. All right. Capitalism does not survive by neoliberalism alone. The latter merely plays the role of the bad cop, insisting that the words of Margaret Thatcher's infamous dictum, "There is no alternative." This guy's like trying to write in such a way that people think he's smart.
Wrong.
I find it very difficult to read. It's worse than reading something from the UK that was written in the 13th century.
The guys from South Bruce, give him a break.
Yeah. And so what he's kind of looking at here, let's get down to the gist of the article unless you guys want to pull something specific out here. What he was talking about here is down here near the bottom. I think this is the paragraph that I really liked some of the point. We see no distinct strands of solutionism in government responses to a pandemic. Progressive solutionists believe that timely app-based exposure to the right information could make people behave in the public interest. This is the logic of nudging, which shaped the UK's disastrous initial response to the crisis. Punitive solutionists, by contrast, want to use digital capitalism's vast surveillance to curb our daily activities and punish. So on the one hand, some people want to use this surveillance state, and we've covered the surveillance state on this channel so much, I don't think I need to get into a lot more here. And we'll see more tomorrow in the news. On the one hand, people are saying, hey, let's use this for the positive of directing people in the right direction. But then we have on the opposite extreme, we also have people who say, let's use this to track everybody down and punish them for breaking our rules.
Right.
And that is where I start to see this case. What do you guys think about that concept?
I don't know. The contact tracking thing is weird because you've got, I think he says it in here, Apple and Google are trying to, do the privacy maintenance or trying to maintain privacy with their options for this. Right. So my thing is like, what does that mean? Does it mean that they're going to assign you just kind of a random anonymized number, and so that none of your personally identifiable information is accessible externally? This is theoretically, of course, assuming no data breaches and that kind of thing. I can understand why people would want that to try to focus on where epicenters may be for the virus. And I think the argument for it is if it's anonymized as just a number, how is that any different than a bunch of people seeing you out in public, but they don't know your name? Mm-hmm. So at one level, I understand that. But if there's a bunch of people that see me out in public, like if I see 10,000 people out in public, that is 10,000 decentralized points of contact. There's no one place where all of that data could be sent to easily.
Mm-hmm. Well, except there is what their plan is, in theory, wants to maintain decent privacy, but there's also an API that sends some data to the health department under the condition it can only be used here and cannot be accessed by other government branches and all these other things. So yes, data is leaving these systems, and then it begs these serious questions. A, hackers. B, changes in law, turnkey government, as Snowden would call it. Or C, rogue employees.
Yep.
We have three ultimate threats that I am concerned about. Dan, I didn't know if you had a comment on this or not.
My comments are kind of paralleled with Tech's comments, because first of all, we're already numbered to death. We don't need any more numbers. I mean, we all have a driver's license number or a state ID number. We all have a social security number. We're all already identified by numbers. What do we need more numbers for? I can hardly remember the ones I already got.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, your phone is a better,
nowadays, everybody's got one of these of some sort. They got that number too, and they keep pestering you with it.
Better identifier than your fingerprints will ever be.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
But, what I see coming out of all this in the end is we had 9/11. What they do, they came up with the bill, the Patriot Act. And the Patriot Act is full of so much garbage in there that they can charge somebody with or bend any way they want to fit the cause. I think when this is all over, they're going to come up with something like the COVID-19 Act. And it's going to have just more garbage that takes more rights away from us.
Yeah, that is one of the things that they mentioned here, that the governments are not going to be able to manage all of that. However, the tech moguls will come and go, we'll take care of that for you. That's pretty easy. And in reality, the problem isn't necessarily the tech moguls. The problem at times is us, where we buy into it. This is why I've always said we are closer to Brave New World than 1984. Remember, 1984 is an overt government oppression. Now, we're getting there in the midst of this COVID stuff. We're certainly seeing that. But outside of this, we've always been closer to Brave New World, which is a willing, complicit adoption of the insanity because of our own pleasures or our own amusements or our own whatevers. And that's definitely the case.
Yeah, this is an example of something that came out of the Patriot Act. I have a friend that got in a fight with his girlfriend and he threw his phone at her. So she called the police and the police picked him up under standard charges of assault or attempted assault. Well, they put him in jail overnight and the judge let him go the next day. And then when his court date came, the prosecuting attorney upcharged him to what is called interruption of an electronic communication device. This has to do with him willingly throwing his phone into the wall. And it is a felony, minimum 5 years at a minimum $20,000.
Yep, under the Patriot Act.
Under the Patriot Act. You want to talk about something that's really stupid? It cost him like $10,000 to get a criminal attorney to get this busted down to 2 counts of attempted interruption of electronic communication device. So he wouldn't have to go to prison.
I mean, wow. Has anybody ever accidentally dropped their phone? You break your phone.
You willingly smash your phone. It's a federal criminal. It's a felony.
Well, does powering my phone off to do an update then interrupt the electronic device and therefore interrupts the federal government's ability to...
You're not destroying the phone in any manner, though.
What if my phone does not have a cell phone, a SIM card in it?
It says interrupting the device and say destroying it.
I don't know how they dug this out of the Patriot Act and made it stick, but even the attorney that he hired, told him that you can't fight this way. You're going to have to get it broken down into pieces and run it through his misdemeanors.
Jeez.
Wow.
I got to see if that's still a law on the records. That's crazy.
It's part of the Patriot Act, though.
I know, but they can amend
parts of the Patriot Act have expired.
Right. That's
of course we have new acts that went in to replace them.
Oh, for sure.
Oh boy.
There's one thing in this article that this Mr. Morozov, is that it? Morozov? Yeah, Morozov says. It's I guess it goes in line with what you were saying about Brave New World, how the technology companies they don't have to have the government mandate a series of rules or laws. They'll just basically use big data to push you in a certain direction, or at least a group en masse. And that's an interesting idea because it's, then in that situation, it does become a wag the dog kind of situation.
Correct. Absolutely. And that is the perfect way to give you your monthly reminder. If you've not gone online and watched The Selfish Ledger, that's exactly what has always been in Google's plan. Get you addicted to our system, figure out what data points we don't have, and then sell you ads, propose you ads to influence you to buy products that will give us the data points about you that we want.
There is nothing Google can do to let me let go of what little money I have left.
Yeah, it's like big tech has finally been foiled by the governors locking us down and taking away our jobs and incomes. Sorry, bro, we can't do nothing.
Facebook doesn't mind. Promise. Everybody's at home. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Very, very interesting. Definitely a good read. I know we didn't cover the article as much as I had planned on, but I think we had a much more profitable discussion in other directions. So that's just as fine.
Talk. Don't use that word.
It is. That is capitalist talk, isn't it? Humidity 10% and 95 degrees here. Can that virus really live in the air? So high temperatures and high humidity is what does the worst. But 10%, 95 degrees, if it's sunny out, no, it's not going to survive. These are not new viruses. I know this is the novel, which, by the way, novel for all of the journalists who don't know what that means and keep on saying the novel coronavirus, for all of you journalists out there who have no idea what that means, it's just the scientific word for new. In other words, newly discovered or newly characterized or newly stated. It's actually, I got sick of that word when I was in grad school because we kept on the novel. I was like, I want to write a book.
The novel.
And I am. But despite being a novel, it still contains was it 90? I'm forgetting the exact numbers now. It's like 98.6% homology with all other coronaviruses, which are nothing new. And we've been studied. And FYI, not a one of them has a vaccine. For Bill Gates, who keeps on wanting to lock him down until we get a vaccine, there is no coronavirus with a vaccine. We actually had one in animal trials for SARS. But it never hit human trials because the virus disappeared. Right. The outbreaks disappeared, really. So, and guess what else is a coronavirus? The common cold. Yeah, it's also a coronavirus. Although not as nearly as closely related as SARS and a few other ones are. But no, none of them live in high humidity. None of them live in high temperature, and sunlight kills them fairly quickly. So that park that's all locked up with yellow tape and covered over and warning signs that your children will die if they touch the equipment, no. That stuff will be disinfected after 15 minutes of being in the sun.
I was about to say, it's not going to last long.
Yeah. Now, under ideal laboratory conditions, the virus can live on plastics and some metals for up to, I think mostly plastics, for up to like 72 hours.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. You see all these reports like how it lasts for 2 and 3 days on metals and plastics, and it's like, oh my god, I can't cook my bacon and eggs.
Yeah, those are not. Yeah, those are not real world experiments. Those are, because what you have to understand, what science is doing is trying to figure out what are the ideal conditions. If you take that same thing and throw it in the middle of a park, you'd be like, yeah, after about an hour, you wouldn't find any trace of it at all. It'd be that gone. Yeah. Let's see if there's any more fun comments down here. Let's see. Or maybe there is a ready-made army down here too, but my state never got close to going overboard. Yeah.
Who said that? I know that comment's a while.
Shadow 1028. I think he said where he was. He's somewhere like on the North Carolina, South Carolina border. Is that like just south of the border? Is that where that is? Just over the border?
Commodore 64 said that? He said he's in South Carolina, Georgia.
Oh, okay. Switzerland works for money laundering and crime underworld Vatican, though. Yeah, well, hey, I didn't say they were clean. I just said they didn't have a lot of problems in World War II. You come in here, Hitler, we are going to tell the Pope to excommunicate you.
Just a hot minute here. I just got an important text.
All right. Does Target still have same-sex bathrooms? I don't know. There was one school, I think, that closed down the same-sex bathrooms after someone was assaulted. Duh. Who would have saw that coming? You can let anybody go into any bathroom that they want. Who saw an assault? Who else? Yeah, never mind. Okay. Building Starlink for his own personal surveillance network. That would not surprise me. Officially, he's building it to provide satellite internet to the world, but unofficially, that would not surprise me. Okay. Earth-wide internet was designed for the humanity to not have censored and surveilled the network. I don't know why it's defaulting to tech. Say something, Dan. Say something.
Defaulting to tech?
There you go. Yeah, I don't know. My video was defaulting to disappeared tech.
Oh.
Ooh, plandemic. There's a good word I could use for the news tomorrow.
There's
Plandemic.
Plandemic.
I like the plandemic.
I guarantee you, this pandemic, they're planning a demic. Never let a good pandemic go to waste.
If I remember that, I'm going to use plandemic for the news tomorrow because that just sounds awesome. I love it. Thank you for that, Unchained. Work with seniors for a living, but my work does not make me take it. Yeah, so if you work with senior citizens, you need to take a lot of extra precautions that the rest of us do not. That is the place that this is going to cause a lot of problems. So if you work for senior citizens, so like we had one of the retirement homes in town here. What they actually did, which is actually it was interesting, although not super sustainable for all their staff. Everybody was put on 2 week on, 2 week off shifts. So you basically had your quote 14 days quarantine, and then you would work and you would literally stay. They paid to have everybody stay on premise. So you literally show up for work. You work 12 hours on, 12 hours off, and everybody stays on premise until the end of your 2 week shift. And then the whole staff switches. So that was their kind of way. That was an interesting way to do it.
Yeah.
Put mercury and other things in them to weaken your immune system so it will make more antibodies to the virus. Okay, that's actually a decent consideration.
Gnostics.
Gnostics haven't been vaccinated.
I'm still half on the string that this is a plandemic, and somewhere someone invented this thing and set it loose.
Yeah.
Either for an experiment or population reduction.
I mean, I haven't seen the evidence of that. The genome mapping suggests that that's not the case. When you're doing and creating a virus or anything that you're modifying the genetic code, you're looking specifically for individual markers. So what you'll do is you're going to cut the thing in certain places that are in known regions called restriction regions, and when you take the restriction regions, you take the thing out, you can restrict in, restrict out what you need based on a series of protocols. And I have not seen any evidence of any of those restriction regions, although I have not actually grabbed the sequence and played with actual restriction maps. But that being said, the likelihood that it was actually created, I would say, is fairly low. But where we see what's more common in a species leap mutation, which is common with this type of virus, and that was being studied in Wuhan, and it escaped the Wuhan lab. That is the thing that I see the most evidence for. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah,
we got it, man. Let it escape.
Yeah.
Stick it
and I don't know if it was a planned escape or a non-planned escape. I'm not going to comment on the motives on that.
You really don't know what to trust your eyes and ears anymore after the TV set had damaged them.
Yeah. Oh boy, Fauci and Dr. Evil Gates wants $1,200 per shot. Ooh, that's an interesting number.
And Crusader says the Plandemic documentary was full of BS from a discredited doctor who has a history of conspiracy theories that were all debunked.
Okay, wait, say that again.
Tan Crusader says the Plandemic documentary, air quotes documentary, was full of BS from a discredited doctor who had a history of conspiracy theories that were all debunked.
I didn't know this documentary called Plandemic.
I said it earlier while you were talking about how much you liked that word. So
I'm sorry. Okay. Can we find information on that? No, I want plandemic, not pandemic. I did not type that wrong.
I think what Gnostic is referring to currently, he says, rumor has it the virus was invented here under the Obama administration and handed off to China during that same time. There's a doctor, Shi Jinling, who was at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, at the same time as some other in their medical department at the same time as some other
juicy
doctors. Yeah, and Fauci supposedly approved a $3.7 million research grant to the university, and then I think it was the HHS, the Health and Human Services, learned about what they were doing, modifying some genome or other, and they said it was unethical and shut it down. So she went back to China to the Virology Institute, and supposedly, I've not looked into this hard. That money got divested from the university and got reinvested in other companies in China that theoretically could have gone to the Virology Institute. That is all like nothing. I've looked into any of that. I'm just telling you what somebody told me, and I was like, that's a tall conspiracy theory to climb up. But
well, there's a lot of them, like the 9/11 conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
They have all these planes crashing into these buildings and stuff, and they're telling you these people are responsible and all that. And what was really weird is about 2 months after that, on the Discovery Channel, they were showing you military-grade missiles and stuff like that. They were showing the Tomahawk cruise missile flying 10 feet above the ground, going across the desert, around cactuses, up and over a mountain, into a village, through an alley, and bombing a house. And then, after you watch that, you're going to start thinking, did they put cruise missile technology in airplanes?
My always thing is people are like shocked that the CIA building got blown up. They're like, they blew the building up. And I'm like, of course they did. It was the CIA headquarters building in New York. They didn't know who was going to get in there and get a hold of that information. Of course they destroyed the building.
Yeah.
It's not a secret. It's not shocking at all that the CIA would do that.
Yeah, I've not heard of this individual person. Yeah, I don't know if that's tied to some crazy thing. I don't know if I do want to use it. I don't know.
I'm not. I haven't bought into it. I mean, this is what I was told. I have not spent a whole lot of time.
Here's something that I can tell you from the scientific point of view is the government, the National Institutes of Health, did just revoke some grants looking at the origin of the coronavirus. So that is something that did happen. And the cited reason is because they said it was fueling conspiracy theories. It was created in China. Now, of course, a conspiracy theorist looks at it and says, "Oh, they turned off the money. They didn't want us to know," And so maybe the NIH has better plans to say, hey, let's redirect money into finding a solution rather than finding an origin, which finding the solution is probably more prudent than finding the origin at this point in time. For whatever. Let's see. Comes a time when we are too clean for the environment we live in. Yeah, that's true. Was it Wisconsin, I think? I think it was Wisconsin. I mean, this is going back 5-10 years ago, maybe. Actually banned hand sanitizer for outside of special case uses because it was causing too much growth of antibiotic-resistant bacteria, which is a very legitimate concern. And we're going to see a lot more antibiotic resistance concern because everyone's like, hand sanitizer, hand sanitizer, hand sanitizer. Yeah. It's like, dude, stop.
I got an uncle like that. He's constantly just, I'm like, you got to stop with that. It's going to kill you one day.
Did our stream stop? People are saying stream stopped, but my stream looks good on my end.
I'm looking at live chat. Nobody's saying that.
Yeah. I only had one person. So.
I don't see any problems.
It's a conspiracy. Globalist, progressive, fear-mongering, what if? Yeah. Facts are like truth. It depends on who's saying it. True that.
One thing we do know is the world is never going to be the same after this.
Yeah. And maybe we can embrace some of the more positive things that come out of it,
Yeah, like telework. I'm finally like teleworking, and I'm so happy. It's like,
yeah,
I'm fine. Never going back in the office ever again.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is some of the data they're collecting. How many of our citizens can we have parked at home in front of their computers and work all day rather than having them come in? Then they're going to sit down and figure out how much energy savings there's going to be out of that. then they're going to carry the numbers in all different directions.
One of the problems, though, is that as we just did on one of these panels a couple weeks ago, not everybody has the capability of working from home. Some people are just too distracted. Some people are just can't do it. So for whatever worth that is.
Well, yeah, you're going to need the Comcast guy sooner or later to come to your house and fix your internet.
Oh, no. Yeah. I always tell them, please don't.
I used to get in a work vehicle and go to factories, warehouses, and places where they did things and store back rooms and fix their equipment. You can't do it any other way. Except if it's a dire situation where they need a piece of equipment and you couldn't fix it at their facility, you called for a semi to bring out a rental.
Yeah. Oh, Dorco here, speaking to my heart. The real problem is that it might hurt the bacon supply.
Whoa.
That will be a tragedy.
Whoa.
The what supply?
The bacon supply.
Bacon. Oh, man, we can't do without bacon.
I still have one whole container of bacon that is unopened.
I'm so glad my store. Now you gotta be worried. Now I gotta go down to the store and get more bacon. I got plenty of bacon, but now I'm
not gonna go to a store unless I absolutely have to until they lift this mask restriction in Pennsylvania. I'm under protest. I'm gonna go eat weeds in the woods.
I go to the store without a mask because I can't buy any anywhere.
Yeah. Of course, out here they're like, "Yo, you got to put on something." So, what I'm gonna do actually is I chatted with my dairy farmer because he doesn't require them. I'm taking a bottle out, get some milk out of that cow for me, So I asked him for all the various farmers, local farmers. So it's like, hey, this is a positive for me. I'm going to make the effort to not go into a real grocery store and deal with what I can buy directly from local farmers for this summer and see if I can do it. That would be neat.
Sorry, I was reading the comments. I'm just trying to.
Oh yeah, find the good ones because
Peter Jansen says that for 20 years the WHO has been warning us about China, and I'm going, have they? Was the WHO's sudden turn in a pro-China direction just because of the Belt and Road Initiative and who's in charge of the
warning.
WHO?
Yeah, warning China, warning China, warning China, warning. Ooh, money.
Yeah, right. Hey guys, it was great. This guy China over here, he's giving us a lot of money. Should check it out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Client sees. I'm going to murder this. I'm sorry. Client Siebzig says the WHO is deeply involved in China. Yes, agreed.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious that YouTube, an American company, will take down things that are not agreeing with who has been defunded by the United States government. Wrap your head around that one.
Right. Well,
they should be adopting the CDC standards because that is the governing health authority in their country. Not that I necessarily agree with either of them. Of course, I am going to agree with the WHO, though, because they tell people do not wear masks. I'm going with WHO. We're all going to die!
I just simply don't have any. I'm not going to sit down and I'm not a seamstress or anything like that and sew up one because I really don't have much clothes left to cut up and make masks out of.
Yeah, if it comes to the time where I have to go into a local store, I'm just going to take an old t-shirt, cut it apart, and tie it to my face. That's what
I don't even do that. I just walk in and make sure I maintain my 6 foot distance or more. And
I should try that.
Nobody around. Well, 50% of the people in the store don't have masks anyways.
Yeah.
Where I'm at.
Oh, Lance, how many? Sure, I'm only halfway through the comments again.
And a big chunk of that half of people are down at the Home Depot, and they're really upset because they can't buy any paint to paint their house because, they got all this free time on their hands. They can't get any home improvement goods or anything like that.
What I've been consistently hearing, though, is that people are more mad at Lowe's and Home Depots for not doing enough. I actually have a friend that quit he worked at Lowe's and he just quit because he's scared of getting this. And then I have another friend who still works there and she's like, oh yeah, people just coming and going and coming and going and coming and going. I said, good. We need some civil disobedience right now,
was pretty funny. I like this
But
person.
as long as you're being safe and things like that, that's whatever. But I should be able to go to the store and get paint because it's going to keep me out of society for a couple weeks while I paint the house. I mean, hey, why not? All right, go ahead, Tech.
No, Dorco says, put your tidy whities on your head. The flap in the front should work great for a straw or beer bottle.
Did you see the picture of a nurse who's wearing a face mask but cut out a hole for the mouth and nose to make it easier to breathe?
Did you see the security guard who was like wearing a thong on his face?
All right, let's see if I can find best face mask pictures.
His hand and everything. I was like, this has got to be a joke.
All right, we gotta do a search for the best face mask pictures. Oh man, all I'm getting is ladies and cucumbers and stuff.
We have two conversations in chat. One's talking about the shadow government, and the other one's talking about Linux. We gotta figure out what topic we're on here.
Hey, why not both? Why not both? Oh, there's.
If you find a good link, you gotta send it to us.
Oh God, look at this one.
Uh-oh, he's losing it.
Yeah. You'll just have to wait till it shows up on the stream. You're on a 15-second delay, I think.
Yeah, not only the painting the house thing, it's people want to get outside and dig around in their dirt and put their flowers in and stuff like that. And they won't let none of the stores sell any flowers or dirt or gardening equipment.
Yeah, you're up in Michigan where they have to close down the gardening supplies.
I mean, come on, it's kind of stupid.
Did that picture show up on your screen yet?
Yeah,
it's a lady smoking a cigarette through a mask.
That's my dude right there.
Oh, all right. This thing's good enough. I'm gonna click on the link.
31
all right.
solutions people came up with.
Here in Michigan, it's
okay. Yeah.
When in doubt, pinky out.
Let's see. Taiwan printed its national flag on face masks so that any mainland China who buys them will have to wear the Taiwanese flag.
Nice. You see that video or the Hong Kong protester who's got the poster board up and he's like Donald Trump don't judge China. China is a-hole. It's really funny. That's hilarious. It's this little 3-second clip. It's super funny.
I think that lady's wearing a bra.
Oh yeah, we're definitely 15 seconds behind you. Oh my word. Oh, this is what was it Dorco
got a bra strap around his head?
Yeah.
I don't know what this is, like a Darth Vader. I'm gonna put together one of these to go to the store. This is the guy's wearing a blue jacket. It says Montbell. He's got the bottles and wow, that's good stuff there. Number 5. Oh God, it's a tampon.
Oh no.
Mask number 5. Absorbent. Well, it's a pad. Sorry, ladies in the audience. I'm just not on the terminology.
I'm so scared of number 5. Oh my.
Oh, wait for number 6. These are just getting juicier. I'm gonna send you guys the article. I should have done this earlier. You can follow along. This lady's. I'm gonna call this one "Pretty in Pink." We're on number 6. If you got the link. Yeah. Oh, man.
What in the world?
Completely wrapped in plastic. I wonder how many people are going to suffocate and die from their stupidity.
Oh my goodness.
Oh God, number 7. These are just getting better and better.
Number 6 is something you'd see on Walmartians. Oh my God.
Yeah, you're going to get infected unwrapping all that stuff from you.
How do you not? Okay, they're wearing face masks inside those bottles on their heads. Number 7.
I mean, there's one egress point, I guess, or ingress point.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Number 8. Oh, they're playing cards for face masks.
Oh my god, they're betting with face masks.
Oh,
now,
man.
This is what happens in the Chinese factory where they make the masks. For all the masks they don't step on, this is what they do.
I do believe that's a grapefruit. At least it smells citrusy.
I'm getting delayed pictures.
I sent it to you in the chat if you can pick it up. I sent you the article in the Hangouts chat.
Yeah, Hangouts chat.
Number 10. Okay, we have another trash bag person.
I've seen that one before. Number 10. Yeah.
God.
This is
Number
my
11. Oh, we have an orange. We went from the grapefruit to the orange. Number 12. Oh, God. They have a little kid in a stroller wearing a mask and covered in a bag. At what point in time is this child abuse?
They have labels on kids' toys and bags that say "Don't give this to children" because they'll put it over their heads and suffocate themselves.
If I saw this scene 2 months ago, the police would intervene and take this child away pending an investigation.
Oh my gosh. Number 13. What in the world? It's a lettuce head.
And there is a place there for the mouth, so it's not a particularly effective mask.
This is a substandard mask, is what.
Oh my god!
Homemade gas mask, number 14. Or is that? I don't know. Hey, this is my kind of mask though, because that is like an aluminum foil and gas mask. I need to make me one of these when I need to go out to the store.
He's got like an oil filter, is what it is, on the end of his mask there.
We have another bag patrol.
Oil filter.
Another bottle head. What? I don't get it. Okay, if you're wearing a bottle on your head, why are you wearing looks like this person has 2 face masks as well.
I said, well, this isn't very smart because this person has the top of their bottle capped off.
Yeah, I mean, eventually they're going to run out of oxygen.
So the coronavirus isn't going to have time to kill you.
At least this one used a bigger bucket. That's
a beer keg.
No, it's see-through. That's a water jug if you find it like the water coolers at your job.
Number 18,
the way it's all shiny, it almost looks
guess
like
this guy's wearing a motorcycle helmet on a plane. That's kind of normal, I don't know.
Motorcycle helmets protect you from the road.
More bottle heads.
Right. The bottle heads are not very creative. I'm
what? You get money back.
Number 20. The only comment I have on number 20 is "Take me to your leader." Well, 21's our smoker.
Yep.
22. More bottle heads. Oh, another orange face.
Yep. I'm guessing those are more grapefruits.
I'm guessing those, like, if that's the fruit, it'd be a pomelo, which is like a big grapefruit. I refer to it as the Death Star fruit. They're huge. So they're like massive grapefruits. Okay, it's just kids wearing masks. Okay. More bottle heads.
I guess
it's a bag head.
Bag head. Oh my gosh.
What is up with 28?
That's like a cereal bag. Like you get it out of a box of cereal, the bag that's inside of it. That's what she's doing.
Unbelievable.
What?
What's up with these oranges? I don't see that as particularly effective.
I don't understand number 28. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
These people think that like citrus. Look. The number 31. Come on now. You got to do better than that. You have got to kiss you've got to cover the sides of your mouth at least.
I did post this one before. That's the CJ protection or TJ protection. Cat on a leash with a face mask over his face, with eyes cut out. Look, there's the Corona beer mask. Of course, it's got a place for a nose hole, so that's not a particular thing, but Oh, there's a dog with a face mask on. Oh.
Let me guess that the coronavirus doesn't like dogs and cats.
Oh, it depends upon whom you ask.
Yeah, apparently there's a.
Oh, there you
dog.
go. Custom face mask unlocks phone, blocks coronavirus. Well, I think on that note, we need to wrap up the rest of the comments and get on out of here. So, of course, I will not be able to get to everybody's comments, I'm sure, but...
Commodore 64 says that he likes the Linux Mint desktop environment better. He just wishes they had a Mate spin. Well, they do make Mate available to install as a desktop environment. So.
Well, you can download Linux Mint Mate.
Oh, you can. They do actually.
Yes, you can install it on top of Debian or anything else. Yeah. However, let me warn you: the Mate is the best on Ubuntu. After that, it's kind of
if they're talking about the Linux Mint Debian edition, you can install Mate onto that.
Yeah, you can.
But however, if they're talking about the regular Linux Mint, they have the Mate version.
If you do use the Linux Mint Debian edition, the Cinnamon desktop is the newest. You don't get the old one like if you're getting straight Debian, and it works really great. I've been using it for months now. It is a rock solid distro.
Nice. I got Pop OS with Mate, which I like Mate quite a lot, but Pop OS has been unstable way too much for me lately, so I'm about to pull the trigger on going to Fedora.
Fedora.
Gnostic just whipped me with a noodle, telling me that I'm so out of touch because I've never heard of Plandemic. I guilty. Apparently, I have not. This is the first time I've heard of Plandemic. Actually. So I accept your beatings, Gnostic. As long as you don't make me apologize for it.
A Plandemic.
I'm gonna have to go look at Plandemic. Local farmers, that's how to do it. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna try and pretty much do that until they tell me that I can go to the local grocery store without a mask on, and that I can bring my canvas bag. You know who I've not heard anything from lately? Where are all these climate change, we're going to destroy the world because we've regressed back to requiring plastic bags and disposable society?
Yeah. Oh, did you watch that show I told you to watch? The Michael Moore one?
No, I forgot all about it.
You need to really watch that.
Yeah, I think the problem is it's on my notes on this computer, and I watch stuff on that computer. So I think that's I'll try and remember to watch it though.
I'll put it in if I can find it here in the chat. So
if you can send it to my email, that would. If you send it to my email, it actually lands on the computer that I can click the link and watch it.
We need to make a channel about that in Discord so we can discuss. That's got some. It's interesting, but it's interesting for the wrong reasons. There's a lot of bad science and sleight of hand that occurs in that show.
Just throw it in the quarantine section on Discord. Okay. That's kind of been the running section to rant about all things Rona.
Section on Discord.
Yeah, I have a quarantine, and I open it up for everybody because this thing's everywhere now. So it is anybody can go in there now, and I'm pretty much asking all of the Rona related stuff. Just put it in quarantine. So those of us that are sick of hearing about it, we can stay in the general chat without it.
Being Michael Moore, you'd think it's a left-sided thing altogether, but it really isn't. It's in the middle, and it shows depending on which party you are, it shows them, with the energy and all that, with the bio stuff. When they wanted to do away with coal, would they replace it with wood? So now they're chopping up all the forests and calling it biofuel.
Yeah, I think I actually watched a critique of the documentary today by a leftist organization. And their claim is that sustainable harvesting of forests in designated areas for biomass is still a better offset of carbon emissions than burning coal. That's their argument. I don't know if that's true.
This is pretty neutral. It argues both sides.
Yeah, I think I would call this documentary.
You only put it in privacy news.
No, because I'm not going to cover it on the news section. If you just email it to me, just send it to my email because it'll land in my email and I'll click the link from there.
Tech, I think I put it in the actual web browser chat.
Yeah, I can go in the quarantine real quick. I got it in there.
In our special window here, I put a copy of it in here. Let's see. Go back to Switchy. I'm just gonna...
humans.
Oh, Gnostic says, did you hear about the African president that tested a goat, a papaya, and several other things, and they all had COVID-19? Well, that's been one of the big challenges is, A, they're really only testing certain people, but B, all the tests have like a super high error rate. It's like... So I don't know what to believe. I just keep on reading the medical journals because I think that's the best science we're going to get.
Probably only science will get.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think that's the stuff that policymakers are reading. Download Mate or Budgie with Manjaro without breaking it. You should be able to. Yeah. Just follow the instructions to install those on Arch. It should be fine. Unless Manjaro has them specifically. All right, yeah, we're going to wrap this guy up because I have another show in like a half hour. I usually wrap this guy up a little bit earlier. So I will be on my Christian channel tonight, and we are actually starting something brand new over there. This is going to be a long-running series because I'm sick of talking about world news. If you want to not hear anything about the modern news, we are actually starting an intensive study through the book of Peter. First Peter, I should say, and we are starting the first lesson of that tonight on the Christian channel. So I dropped the link in there. So if that is something that interests you, you can head on over to that show. And also, don't forget that if you would like to get some of your own thoughts about this Rona-iness, head a look over to the Lockdown book. You can download that and read it for free on your various e-readers and computers. So you can head that over. And I also dropped the link in there. So we will see you guys over there. Guys, final words?
Well, I don't think the world is going to be the same after this. We're going to have a whole new perspective on how things are. People are going to be afraid to go outside even a year from now and go shopping in malls and stuff like that. And I wouldn't be surprised in a year you still see people wearing masks. So,
I don't care if people want to wear masks. Just don't make it compulsory. That's what.
The world's never going to be the same. Just like it changed right after 9/11. I mean, it's one of them things.
Here's my covenant with you. Okay, if I'm sick, I'm going to commit to stay home. Okay.
Yes.
And if I'm not sick, deal with it. I'm not wearing a mask. No shaking hands anymore. Not with every single person I encounter, but with a close friend. Yeah, I don't see a problem with that. I'm very happy that my church is following my recommendation. They're going to have church this Sunday. They've asked people don't hug and shake everybody's hand. I'm like, yes, finally, a church service I will enjoy. So anyway, Tack, any final words?
I gotta quote Dorco on this one. Everyone, go make your citrus peel and plastic bottle mask for the next show.
You know what? I happen to have some grapefruit in my refrigerator, and I'm thinking about doing it.
I might buy an orange just to do that.
All right,
acid and that stuff's got to tear the inside of your nose out.
Oh, guaranteed. It's not going to be safe for you. I'd rather take my chances with other stuff.
I'd rather take my chances with the water bottle.
Yeah, there you go. I'll take my chances with a tight plastic bag with eye holes. All right, guys. We will catch you guys later, and we will see you over in the other stream in a half hour if you are interested in that. So thanks for hanging out, guys.